Every advanced chip in the world, whether it's powering AI, phones, or a self-driving car, starts with one thing: the software used to design it. And Synopsys is the company behind almost all of it. As chips get more complex, Synopsys becomes more essential. Today, I'm pitching Synopsys as a strong buy with a target price of $865.15. The company sits at the center of the semiconductor design process, and its tools are used in almost all advanced chips produced today. Synopsys is the global leader in electronic design automation, or EDA, the software that chip designers rely on to simulate, verify, and physically design integrated circuits. The company also operates a fast-growing silicon IP business, providing reusable building blocks like memory controllers, interface IP, and security modules. These IP blocks save companies years of development time and are becoming more important as chips grow more complex. What really sets Synopsys apart is its position in a near duopoly with Cadence. This structure has held for decades because switching costs are extremely high. Engineers train on these tools for years, and companies build entire workflows around them. That's why Synopsys maintains 30 to 40% market share in EDA and continues to grow. The semiconductor industry is massive and accelerating. In 2025, the global market is valued at $631 billion, and it's projected to grow at 8.6% annually, reaching nearly $959 billion by 2030. Asia Pacific dominates manufacturing, producing over 90% of the global semiconductor volume, while North America leads in chip design. The biggest force reshaping the industry is AI. Every new AI model requires more computing power, more memory, and more specialized architecture. That complexity directly increases the need for advanced design tools. At the same time, foundries like TSMC and Samsung continue pushing towards smaller nodes, with each step down increasing design difficulty, verification time, and simulation requirements. Synopsys has one of the strongest competitive positions in the semiconductor ecosystem. It is the largest EDA vendor, holding nearly one-third of the total EDA market and a majority share in advanced digital design tools. Its tools are certified by every major foundry, including TSMC, Samsung, and Intel, and customers cannot design chips on new nodes without this certification. This creates a powerful moat. The company has decades of proprietary algorithms, deep integration with foundry roadmaps, and a customer base that simply cannot switch. Engineers train on Synopsys tools for years, and companies build entire design flows around them. Competitors like Cadence and Siemens EDA does exist, but Synopsys remains the preferred choice for advanced chip design, especially at cutting-edge nodes where accuracy and reliability matter most. Synopsys generates revenue through three main ways. The first is its core EDA tools: simulation, verification, and physical design. These tools are mission critical and deeply embedded into engineering workflows. The second is silicon IP, which is a high margin, fast growing business. As chips become more complex, companies increasingly license IP rather than build it from scratch. And the third is AI driven automation. Synopsys integrates machine learning into its tools to optimize power and performance to reduce design time. These revenue streams work because of four structural forces. Chip complexity is exploding, foundry certification is required at every new node, switching costs are extremely high, and AI chips require massive simulation and verification. All of this creates durable and recurring demand. When looking at Synopsys through Porter's five forces, the strength of its position becomes even clearer. The threat of new entrants is essentially zero. EDA is in an industry where a startup can suddenly appear, as it requires decades of algorithm development, deep integration with foundry roadmaps, and trust from companies that cost hundreds of millions of dollars. The threat of substitutes is also extremely low. There is no alternative to EDA tools for designing advanced chips. Even the largest companies in the world, such as Apple, Nvidia, and Qualcomm, rely on Synopsys because a design error at 3 nanometers can cost billions. Competitive rivalry is moderate. Cadence is the only true competitor, but Synopsys still maintains leadership in physical design, verification, and certification. At cutting-edge nodes like 2 nanometers, Synopsys is often the first partner foundries work with. Supplier power is moderate because Synopsys depends on large foundries like TSMC and Samsung for certification. But these relationships are long-standing and mutually beneficial, and Synopsys is typically integrated early in the process. Buyer power is low as switching costs are enormous due to engineers training on these tools for years. Once a customer adopts Synopsys, they almost never leave. Synopsys' financials reflect the strength of its business model. The company consistently delivers gross margins above 80%, and more than 90% of its revenue is recurring, which is rare in the semiconductor industry. Free cash flow is strong and steadily growing, and Synopsys has delivered double-digit revenue growth for more than a decade. This combination of high margins, recurring revenue, and consistent growth gives Synopsys one of the best financial profiles in the entire semiconductor ecosystem. My valuation uses a blended approach. A PE-based valuation gives a target price of $884.72, while a blended valuation using PE, EV/EBITDA, and price to free cash flow gives $912.40. However, to remain conservative given export controls, I set my final target price to $865.15, representing a 65.89% upside. Even under cautious assumptions, Synopsys' long-term growth trajectory remains strong, supported by AI, advanced nodes, and the increasing complexity of chip design. AI is one of the biggest forces shaping Synopsys' future. On the opportunity side, AI models are getting larger, and that requires more advanced chips. Those chips require enormous amounts of simulation and verification, which increases demand for Synopsys' tools. Synopsys is also integrating AI into its own products, using machine learning models to speed up verification and improve power and performance optimization. The risk is that AI native EDA startups may attempt to automate parts of chip design, or that large customers experiment with internal AI tools. But these efforts are still early, and Synopsys' scale, IP portfolio, and foundry partnerships give it a significant advantage. There are several risks to consider with Synopsys, though the long-term outlook remains strong. One of the biggest is export controls. The US has restricted the sale of advanced EDA tools to China, which is one of the world's largest semiconductor markets. While Synopsys has diversified globally, China still represents meaningful demand, so any regulations could create short-term revenue pressure. Another risk is foundry timing. Synopsys' tools are linked to the release schedules of TSMC, Samsung, and Intel. If any of these foundries delay a new node, design activity slows, and Synopsys feels that impact immediately. Customer concentration is also worth noting. A significant portion of Synopsys' revenue comes from large chip companies like Apple, Nvidia, Qualcomm, and AMD. These customers are stable, but any shift in their design cycles or spending priorities can affect Synopsys' short-term results. Finally, there is emerging competition from AI native EDA startups. While most are still early stage and lack the scale and foundry relationships required for advanced nodes, they may represent long-term risk if AI-driven automation accelerates faster than expected. On the ESG side, Synopsys has made meaningful progress across all three pillars. Environmentally, the company has committed to reaching net zero emissions by 2040 and already uses 100% renewable electricity in the US. It is also a member of RE100 and is expanding renewable energy adoption across its global offices. Synopsys' tools themselves contribute to environmental efficiency by helping customers design chips with fewer power consumption, which is increasingly important as AI workloads grow. Socially, Synopsys invests heavily in STEM education, reaching more than 100,000 students annually through partnerships with schools, nonprofits, and universities. From a governance standpoint, Synopsys maintains a strong board oversight, transparent reporting, and a disciplined strategy, consistently ranking among the more responsible companies in the semiconductor industry. To conclude, Synopsys is essential to the future of chip design. It has a recurring revenue, a near duopoly, and massive tailwinds from AI and advanced nodes. With strong fundamentals and clear long growth drivers, I rate Synopsys as a strong buy with a target price of $865.15. Thank you.